Well, for more on this, I'm joined by Jonathan Katz. He is a senior fellow at the German Marshall Fund of the United States. It's good to have you with us. So we just heard that soundbite, and at the same time, Russia's foreign minister has said that there is a chance to reach an agreement with the West over Ukraine. Is there still room for diplomacy?
Yeah, I think there's, and I'm sure this is going to be the message for Chancellor Scholz, tomorrow when he's in Moscow, is there is a path for de-escalation. And I think what you heard from the State Department spokesperson today is that we haven't seen the United States, our European allies, including Germany, have not seen steps yet to de-escalate. So yes, there is room for de-escalation, but at this point, it's a don't trust but verify situation, which is if Russia takes steps, there's really no basis to trust them based on their buildup. But if they do take steps, that can begin the process of de-escalation and move this crisis in a different space than where it is today.
When it comes to the bigger picture, what is Putin's endgame anyway?
The end game for him has been control over Ukraine, control over Ukraine's decisions, its foreign policy decisions, its decision to further integrate into Europe. And the other thing that obviously Mr. Putin has been seeking is really a breakup of this transatlantic security architecture that's been in place for several decades. He believes through this crisis that he can achieve certain objectives, including bringing Ukraine back into Russia's fold, but also at the same time simultaneously harming European security. And I think any chance that he can get to drive a wedge between the United States, its European allies, and those that seek further integration, Mr. Putin views that as a victory. So I think those are still the objectives today. We don't see any change. There's a reason why he has over 140,000 troops in the Black Sea, already some of those that are in Crimea, Donbass, but on the borders of Russia and Belarus and Ukraine.
Well, Ukraine's President Zelensky has reiterated that his country intends to join NATO. Is there a possibility that he could potentially drop this notion to avoid tensions with Russia?
I think it was pretty clear it's in Ukraine's constitution that they would seek membership in NATO and the EU. So I don't see the Ukrainian president moving from that position. And I don't see NATO and alliance members moving from the position that NATO's door remains open to countries that seek membership, and then it's up to the NATO member states and the alliance to determine if they're ready to enter. So I don't see that happening. But of course, in Kiev, they have a democratically elected president, Mr. Zelensky, and so they get to choose and make their own decisions as well.
Now, Germany's chancellor has been criticized for being relatively too low-key. What does he bring to the party at this stage?
Yeah, look, there was a very good meeting today that took place between Mr. Zelensky and Chancellor Scholz. Germany has provided a tremendous amount of support for Ukraine since the Maidan, since 2014. I think today what they talked about was macroeconomic support, other type of assistance. But what I also saw was solidarity with Ukraine. Nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. And when I see Chancellor Scholz speaking and Mr. Macron last week, and then I'm hearing these conversations with President Biden, the transatlantic alliance couldn't be any more together, in step, in unity with this current crisis. And I think that's the type of message that you saw today with Mr. Zelensky and Chancellor Scholz. And I think it's the kind of message you're going to see tomorrow. Again, which is for the chancellor with Vladimir Putin, which is, hey, there's an opportunity to de-escalate, but if not, the consequences are massive. And I think that twin message, an offer for diplomacy to continue, is important, but also the consequences. What is really the biggest crisis in European security for the last 30 years. So these messages, twin messages, need to happen.
All right. Jonathan Katz from the German Marshall Fund, thank you very much for your analysis.
Thank you.